Hold on now. Can y'all believe they actually arrested Don Lemon for covering a protest? Journalism, something he's done for what, 30 years, I believe he said. Come on in here. Let's talk about this because I am not trying to get arrested doing these news stories, okay? So I thought this was all a rumor because Don Lemon has recently been into it with Donald Trump, Nicki Minaj. He's been into it with Donald Trump for years. So I'm thinking somebody to put some information out there that's not true. I get home, it's all over the internet. I'm like, what the heck? So they really arrested him for real? Listen to this, y'all. Don Lemon was arrested by federal law enforcement on June 29. He said in the middle of the night, in connection with an incident that took place this month in St. Paul, Minnesota. It was the January 18th church protest, which happened like 2 weeks ago, y'all, where protesters entered a Sunday service to protest a pastor who is an official with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Basically, he's one of the ICE people. The pastor of that church is one of the ICE people. So they got protesters out there. Of course, everybody seems to be against ICE these days. So they went into this church to protest while the service was going on. Okay, take a look at this clip, y'all.
Arrest of Don Lemon, the former CNN anchor turned independent journalist, is out of jail, released just a short time ago. He's accused of participating in an anti-ICE protest that disrupted a church service in St. Paul.
Okay, so why did they target Don Lemon? Why? Well, federal prosecutors allege that Lemon was not merely just reporting, but was somehow involved in the actions that interfered with the religious service. They charged him with two things: conspiracy to deprive civil rights and for violating the FACE Act. And the FACE Act involves, which it makes it a crime to use force or threats to interfere with someone's right to worship. So based on the video that I saw, he wasn't using force or threats or any of that. Don Lemon simply walked in with them. He stood to the back. He was over by the door. He did not approach the pastor. He did interview the pastor as the pastor was leaving out, but he did not go anywhere near the protest. And he even stated in his live stream that we are not affiliated with this protest. We are here just doing journalism work. We're just here to report what's going on. We are not affiliated with this protest whatsoever. He stated that in the live stream. Okay, so here is a video to let you see exactly what happened. Okay, take a look at this.
I'm just going to walk in.
Don Lemon says this act of conventional journalism has landed him in federal court. Tonight he's facing charges of disrupting a Minnesota church service nearly 2 weeks ago.
I'm not going to get in the middle of it because I'm not here as an activist. I'm here as a journalist.
Lemon followed demonstrators inside a church whose pastor was also an immigration official.
So what do you think? Does it look like he's using any threats or any force, or does it look like he's participating in the actual protest? From what I can see, Don wasn't doing anything but simply being a news reporter. That's all I saw. So you can let me know in the comments what you think, how you interpret that. But so into that, this is what Donald Trump had to say. You know, he's got to do some name calling. He just can't give a professional response as a president. He has to throw a name call. He has to throw some type of insult in there. So listen to this.
Mental institutions from where they came, that's all they want to do. They're patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday.
So, typical response from the president, right? It was typical. So, when Don Lemon was asked, like, Don Lemon, what the heck is going on? He did have a short response. And I believe this was a clip from CBS News. Watch this. This is what Don Lemon says is him explaining himself that day. Listen to this.
I was there just simply chronicling what they were doing, which is what journalists do all the time.
Basically, that's what I get out of it too. I agree with Don Lemon in this situation. And y'all listen, I don't agree with people just because I've been supporting them over the years. I agree with them when I really do agree with them. Like if I felt like Don had done something in that church that was inappropriate or against the law or whatever, I would say that on here. I would say, no, I've been supporting you forever, but you were dead wrong for that. But I really don't see what the issue is as far as blaming Don Lemon for this. So this is where the controversy lies, okay? This is where the controversy comes in. A few things. Journalists are protected by the First Amendment, but they cannot participate in illegal conduct. So even though we have protection from the First Amendment, that don't mean you can still go out there and break the law just because you feel like in your head the First Amendment, your First Amendment rights are going to protect you. No, they're going to throw you behind in jail, okay? The second part of the controversy is prosecutors must show that the journalist did more than observe or report. This is where I think the prosecutors are going to have a problem, because watching that video, there's nothing to show a judge that proves that he participated in this, or he's using threats or harm and all this type of stuff that it names in the FACE Act. There's nothing in that video that I saw, and I'm a real fan of Dunham. I watched the entire stream and I didn't even think nothing of it. I just thought it was just regular reporting by Don Lemon. So I don't know, y'all, but anyway, make a long story short, he did, I think, an overnight stay in jail. The next day, he was released. Well, he was released. Okay, so listen to this. On January 30th, okay, today, following a court appearance, a judge released him without having to post bail, but pending his next scheduled court date on February 9th, 2026 in federal court in Minneapolis, okay? Here are Don's statements to the media after being released. So he did like one night in jail. They released him with no bail, and I'm glad because he was looking forward to covering the Grammy Awards this weekend. And I was so set on watching him cover the Grammy Awards. He's going to be live streaming according to his YouTube channel. He said he's going to be out there live streaming. And I wanted to see him live stream the Grammys. So I'm glad he was able to get out overnight and we can go on with our lives, okay? But he does have to be back in court February 9th. So this is what Don Lemon said as soon as he was released and he had to make a statement for the media. Listen to this.
I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever.
I guess you heard that. He said, I will not be silenced. And I don't blame you, Don, because Don is going to help all the people that report the news like myself. He's going to help us to be able to feel comfortable, because right now people feeling a little weird, because like when I started this video, I told you, I'm not about to get arrested. So it gets all journalists to thinking like, should I do this story? Should I not do this story? Is it okay if I go and film it? And are they going to come up here and take me to jail? Got everybody thinking now, right? So, no. Thank you, Don, for standing up and not being silent, because this is the future. Independent journalism, independent reporting and journalism, it is the future. So they're going to have to make ways for us. They're going to have to quit all this, because we're not stopping, okay? We are not stopping. Okay. Don's attorney also released a statement calling it an unprecedented attack on the First Amendment. Here's a little bit about what his attorney posted. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his continually protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exhibits to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters. The Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. The unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. That was the statement that his attorney put out. So as you can see, they are not giving up without a fight, okay? And I don't blame Don. He wasn't doing anything. I side with what I feel is right, okay? If he, like I said, if he was wrong, I would say he was wrong for that. But he wasn't doing anything. But standing there covering the protest. That's all he was doing, y'all. So I'm glad to see Don Lemon out. I've been a fan of Don Lemon forever because I'm a media student as well. I studied journalism and communications, and I have a degree in that. So this means a lot to me, okay? So that's why I used to watch, when I was back in school, I used to watch people like Don Lemon just to, you know, get some pointers, see what I need to do, how I need to speak, how I need to act, you know. They were like my mentors, like without even knowing it. So, but yeah, y'all, I just had to put that out there. Don Lemon is out. We'll see what happens on February 9th when he goes to court. And big up to Don Lemon for standing up for himself and all other journalists, independent media, people on YouTubers and everything like myself. So y'all have a good day. Bye.